An orphan boy was abandoned by his mom and bounced from orphanages to foster homes. He was ill-disciplined owing to a difficult upbringing and was considered an academic failure. Joining the Marine Corps later in life built resilience in him, which gained him admission to university. He took a business loan to take over a pizzeria with the aim of paying his tuition. Little did he know this decision would lead him to pioneer the modern pizza chain, changing its whole industry and creating a billion-dollar empire. This is a story of how a neglected orphan boy went from bottom of the class to building a multi-billion pizza brand with Domino's Pizza. Born in 1937 in the college town of Ann Arbor, Michigan, Thomas Stephen Monaghan was the first son of Francis and Anna Monaghan and older brother to Jim Monaghan. The Monaghan family was barely making ends meet, but after Tom's father died in 1941, things became extremely worse. With a job that only paid $28 a month, Tom's mother was unable to provide for both him and his 2-year-old brother. With no other option available, she placed 4-year-old Tom and his brother in foster homes until she was able to train as a nurse and reclaim them. But the foster system wasn't perfect back then, and Tom was bounced from home to home until he finally landed at the St. Joseph's Home for Boys, an orphanage run by the Felician Order of Nuns in Jackson, Michigan. He remained at the orphanage for 6 years until his mother finally returned to reclaim him. But life back with his mother, whom he barely knew at this point, wasn't easy. Although young Tom was highly industrious, selling everything he could, including going door to door hawking fish and vegetables and selling newspapers on the street corners, his rebellious behavior at home didn't sit well with his mother. Only 2 years after reclaiming him, Tom's mother returned him to foster care, unable to handle his erratic, rebellious behavior. Now in high school, Tom decided he wanted to be a priest owing to a strong Catholic faith he had built living with the nuns at the orphanage. But less than a year after joining the St. Joseph Seminary in Grand Rapids, Michigan, he was kicked out for continually breaking the rules. He returned to high school and was back living with his mother, where his behavior led her to put him in a detention home for 6 months. He barely graduated high school at the bottom of his class, but poor grades and an inability to pay tuition meant he couldn't even gain admission to the university. Determined to turn his life around, Tom decided to join the U.S. Army, mainly to benefit from their educational opportunities. But after filling out the wrong application, he realized he had joined the U.S. Marine Corps instead. After finishing his 2-year service with the Marines in 1959, Tom Monaghan was given an honorable discharge and was able to gain admission into the University of Michigan to fulfill his dream of becoming an architect. While gaining admission into the university meant he was succeeding at getting his life back on track, there was still the issue of tuition, and money saved up from his service wasn't going to cover it. Almost like fate, Tom's brother Jim brought him a proposition to buy out a small pizzeria that was up for sale in Ypsilanti, Michigan, named Domino's. Both brothers agreed to the deal, and with a loan from the credit union, they were able to purchase the small business. Tom agreed to work at night and attend classes at the university during the day, while Jim would handle the daily routines. They had initially thought of changing the name of the business, but eventually agreed that Domino's Pizza sounded a lot better than Monaghan's Pizza. Before the previous owner of the pizzeria left, he gave the brothers some lessons in the art of making pizzas. Tom took more of an obvious interest and soon found himself in love with making pizzas. He recalls loving the feel of rolling out the dough and being obsessed with making the best pizza sauce he had ever tasted. Tom visited other pizzerias in the area to scope out the competition and found that not many offered quick and efficient delivery services. He soon hired 2 former factory workers to work as delivery men, and the new delivery model seemed to be taking off. But as the business became more demanding, Tom's partnership with his brother suffered, as Jim's main job as a mailman prevented him from giving ample time to the business. Eventually, both brothers decided to part ways, and Tom bought out Jim's part of the business in exchange for a 1959 Volkswagen Beetle they were using as a delivery van. But even Tom himself couldn't juggle being a full-time student and business owner, and he eventually had to drop out of school to devote his life to his now expanding business. By 1961, the business had grown so much that Tom opened a second pizzeria in Ypsilanti, was now hiring hourly employees, and even took on a new partner, Jim Gilmore. The following year, with his new partner, they opened a 3rd store in Ypsilanti called Pizza King, which was located on the University of Michigan campus. This particular store saw immediate success as university students flocked to the pizzeria. By 1965, they had opened 5 stores, but as it turned out, Jim Gilmore had accumulated accumulated debt over the years which affected Tom, as everything was in the Monaghan name. This led to the partnership being dissolved and Gilmore receiving a $20,000 payout and 2 stores. Now the sole owner of the entire business, Tom decided it was time to franchise his pizzerias and was in search of a new name. As luck would have it, one of his delivery drivers, Jim Kennedy, came up with the name Domino's. Tom liked it so much that it became the name from there on out. Tom also came up with a new logo for his franchise featuring a red and blue domino with 3 dots, which represented the 3 stores. He intended to increase the number of dots on the logo as the number of stores increased, but soon proved futile. Domino's Pizza was taking off in the mid to late 60s owing to Tom's business model. He set strict guidelines for the ingredients used in making his pizzas. The dough and sauce were made to absolute perfection and followed a strict recipe across all stores. Also, he removed all other food options from the menu, focusing exclusively on pizzas, and made all his stores delivery or takeout options only. Domino's also offered hot pizza in 30 minutes at all stores or your money back guaranteed. Domino's also developed a corrugated cardboard box which allows for multiple pizza boxes to be stacked on each other without squishing the pizza and keeping it hot as well. This new box allowed for multiple pizza deliveries simultaneously and has since become a standard for home-delivered pizza boxes all over the world. The business showed no sign of slowing down, with at least 2 new stores opening almost monthly. And by 1978, Domino's had expanded to over 200 stores across the country. 1983 was a special year for both the Domino's franchise and Tom Monaghan, as the first international Domino's opened in Winnipeg, Canada. This marked the 1,000th store for Domino's, with the franchise now raking in millions in annual income. It was also a special year for Monaghan, as he fulfilled a childhood dream when he purchased the Detroit Tigers baseball team from John Fetzer for $53 million. Tom has always been a devout fan of the Tigers, and as luck would have it, the Tigers went on to win the World Series the following year. By the mid-80s, there were at least 3 new Domino's opening daily across the world, which was unheard of, as pizza and Coca-Cola were the only things on the menu. With Domino's seeing unprecedented success in the pizza business, it came as a shock when Tom Monaghan reportedly sold off his 93% ownership of Domino's for an estimated $1 billion. His reason for this was that he intended to devote his time to charity work related to children's issues, as well as strengthening his support for the Catholic Church. But even with Monaghan no longer playing an active role in the business, he had already set the groundwork for Domino's success. The franchise has grown to be one of the most successful food chains in the world and remains the premier choice for pizza worldwide. Domino's has now over 15,000 stores worldwide, with more than 5,000 in the United States and India being its second largest market with over 1,500 stores. There are Domino's stores in over 83 countries, with over 300,000 employees globally. A business with an initial capital of $500 is now worth over $14 billion. From a troubled boy with no stable home and poor grades to a global business mogul, Tom Monaghan has built a legacy with Domino's Pizza, a legacy now worth billions of dollars and providing employment and mouth-watering food all over the world.